Hi, guys. I'm rising. Oh my God. I've been flaky as, haven't I? Classic Gemini rising in Gemini season. I'm so sorry. It's something I'm so conscious of, actually. I haven't really spoken this out with anyone, but I know one of the shadow undercurrents of Gemini as a sign is flakiness and like not delivering on your promises. And I just need you all to know I was so committed to doing a vibe check late last week and then being your ears on Monday, but I've been slammed emotionally, mentally, physically, on all fronts. It's actually a great story. So this is what we're talking about today is what has unfolded since I've been back from Fiji, because honestly, I've been in it since I've been back from Fiji. It's like my whole intention on the trip for me personally, obviously the biggest intention was spending time with my family and just unplugging and being with my loved ones. But my personal intention was it was a reset. Like I wanted Fiji to be the reset that then I would come back from. And, as you guys know, I ordered that cleanse. Like I was going to, get back to the gym, which I did last week. And like, I just really wanted to reset everything off the back of Fiji. That was the start of the reset. Well, my goodness, have I been forced to look at areas of my life that want to be reset? And I think it's been a really good thing for me to be offline for so many reasons. I was saying to Cass yesterday, the longer you're off it, the better it is. Like anytime I go on my desktop, I'm like, oh, or I downloaded it onto my phone yesterday because if you're in the Soulies group, I wanted to explain I'm not ignoring you guys. It's my own shit, isn't it? I promise I'm not ignoring you. I just got my voice back today. But the longer you're away from social, yeah, the more kind of resistant you become to getting online. So that's been part of the reset for sure. My usage of social media as a suppressant of my feelings. And I think actually what's happened is off the back of it not being an outlet for dissociation for me, I have really been processing a lot more and a lot more in a quicker way. I'm already pretty quick at processing, as you guys know, but it's just been kind of amplified because I have no other outlet than to really sit and be with what I'm moving through. And there may be some coughs and splutters in this episode because I literally have been without a voice. It's hurt to talk since Thursday night, and today is Tuesday. And today's the first day that I got my voice back. So I could have given it another couple of days before I recorded this, but I actually love doing this so much. And I have a little celebration to share with you guys before I get into the week that was, or the 10 days or so that was. So it was actually when I was peak fevering last Thursday night, I got a message from beautiful Ash, and she was like, "Hey, Hole, do you know that Soul Talk was featured in Wellbeing magazine in March?" I was like, "What?" And she sent me through this incredible, I'll put it in the Soulies chat. I actually want to get a copy of the magazine, but because it was like a couple of months ago, I don't even know what the actual general page was, but it basically implied that if you're looking for honesty, listen to Soul Talk. And it has my photo, it has the show photo, and this beautiful, basically, review of Soul Talk in print in Wellbeing magazine. Had no idea, guys. I do not have anyone doing publicity for me. I don't have any friends working at Wellbeing. If you're listening, and because A, you saw that review, or B, you wrote it, thank you so much. It meant so much to me. It was like I was down and out with this fever and chills. And the words that we used to describe the show, I was like, this is exactly what I want people to know the show for. Just honest, vulnerable, real, personal development, spiritual development. Like it was so nice. So that felt really special. Anyway, that's just me tooting the show's horn for a bit. It's interesting that happened in March and I had no idea. And I found out about it when I've been offline for it's 3 weeks now, over 3 weeks. I really wanted to do a month, but I think I'll come online on Friday just while I'm working, and post a few things. Because the other thing I want to get the plugs out of the way. It sounds like not even a plug, but my Heart Space Live event, the cacao event that I'm running up here in Byron Bay on Saturday, July 25th, is 50% sold out to a wait list. I have not had to share it on social media at all. I sent one email to my Heartspace members and I sent the link to there were a handful of you who reached out off the back of last week's episode. 10 of the 20 tickets are gone. And as I said, I actually can't offer more than 20 because of car parks. So if you're wanting to come, I'm putting the link in the show notes here. There are 10 spots left. Once they're gone, they're gone. And that is genuinely it. We are being sponsored by the wonderful, well, the venue is at Citrus Barn in Pierces Creek up here on the Northern Rivers. So beautiful. We're going to gather around the fire. It's at the threshold of when the nodes shift. At sunset, and Loco Love are supporting the event as well with their cacao. So it's going to be really, really special. So if you are wanting to be there, please get your ticket because I am being reminded, actually, and this is in a roundabout way what I've been sitting with the last week, that I can work less and say less and achieve more. And that's been something that I've been grappling, not even grappling with, just pondering on since Fiji. And when I was in that sacred point, which I will share when I'm back online, sitting my cacao, in one of the journeys of cacao I sat with while I was there, I was shown two projectors in human design that I view as in their highest expression. And uh, I feel like, you know, when you're a projector in human design, your signature is success. Success should come quite effortlessly to you when you are in alignment with the expression of being a projector. And part of being a projector is, and especially for me, a 3-5 projector, because five lines, you get projected upon and people want you to solve all their problems, like whether you actually genuinely want to or not. An example of that is when I did curve modeling, plus size modeling, and became a body image advocate. Everyone wanted it from me. Not everyone, but obviously a lot of people wanted that from me. But when I stepped back, I went, I actually don't want this from myself. And so, yeah, you get projected upon a lot with a 5 line and as a projector. And there's this thing that I've really had to grapple with in terms of like only speaking or responding or speaking up when I'm being asked for my opinion or when I'm being valued for my words. And so when you guys are listening to Soul Talk, for instance, you are opting in to hear what I have to say. Whereas on my stories or like a random post, like not everyone's opting into that and it can feel quite leaky, I've realized with my own energy. And so the two people that came through for me were Amy Lee, who is just, I feel like a beautiful embodiment of what it is to be a projector in human design, and also Jules Ferrari. I love Jules. I talk about her every second ep. Take a shot every time I say Jules's name. I'm obsessed with her, clearly. I don't know if I told you guys in my book launch. It's so funny. At Gertrude and Alice last year in Bondi, I'm launching my second book. It's like peak life career moment for me. I've always wanted to do a book launch at Gertrude and Alice. It's my favorite bookstore in the world. It just felt so big. And I'm like mid answering one of my sister's questions. And I look around the room and I go, oh, by the way, guys, Jules Ferrari's here. This is Jules Ferrari. And I like pointed out Jules in the audience. I'm obsessed with her. Anyway, she's another beautiful example of a projector who is in success, where these women aren't constantly sharing on social media. They're sharing their expertise and what people have opted in for from them. And then they leave. And like, you know, they can go days or weeks without hearing from them, but then they'll emerge again. And I know in their own right, in their lives and their businesses in particular, like they're very successful women. And so that came through to me when I was in Fiji. And I'm like, I want to embody that more. I want to be so in my projector success that I don't need to rely on the story that I have to be constantly posting, sharing, and even like sharing every aspect of my life all the time. I already do that here. I already do that on this platform. And I've spent 10 years building a community of you all on Instagram. And I think there's been this big part of me that's been behaving as if I was just starting out still, or I still needed to build the community. And of course, I want to grow it. But what it's going to take to go there is it's a very different approach to what's gotten me here. And so in launching this event to a wait list and one email to my Heartspace members, and in 24 hours, 50% of the tickets are gone, it's been hugely validating for me to go, you know, I already sell my readings without having to promote them. I'm very grateful for that. It's been 8 years of building a community that knows when they want a reading with me, they know where to go. And that happens organically by itself. I'm pretty much booked out for June. You know, that feels really great. Same goes with the heart space. I think if anything, that's the one that needs a little more love in terms of people understanding why they would join and the benefits they receive. But when it comes to something like a live event that no one online, like my friends don't even know I'm running this event and it's already half full, like there's 10 tickets have sold and I've not done a single post online. It's this really beautiful, almost amplifier around, okay, I can still run a really successful, there's that projector word, successful business without Instagram being my first point of call. Like it's 2 months out from the event. Maybe a month from now, I show up and say, there's 5 tickets left. Or maybe a month from now, I show up and say, I've sold out and I haven't even done a single post on Instagram about it. And that's the direction that I'm really feeling pulled to take my work. It's not, you guys aren't even going to find this surprising, but the Virgo South Node is direct my Virgo Mercury. It's at 6 degrees. My Mars, 6 or 4, maybe it's 4 degrees, and my Mars in Virgo is 2 degrees. So there's a 2 degree conjunction there. It will be moving over my Mars, but it's already conjunct. What does this mean? Basically, the Virgo South Node is all around overachievement, overgiving, and I'll talk about that in a moment because that's been highlighted to me. Overdoing, overriding your nervous system, feeling overwhelmed. There's all of this over, right? Over. Now, when it comes to my personal Virgo Mercury in the second house of worth and value, and also how I make my money, the Virgo South Node is highlighting to me all the ways I have overgiven in my like literal usage of my voice. Where am I over speaking? Where am I over telling? Where am I speaking in rooms where people don't value what I have to say, that second house of value? Where am I speaking because I feel like if I don't, people won't value me? Like, where am I deriving self-worth from being constantly a voice and like people being constantly reminded that I exist? Being constantly in people's feeds or constantly in the stories, and that, that fear of like, if I don't post, it's, as I said, it's been over 3 weeks now as someone who posts every day. If I don't post, does my business still exist? And my business being solely reliant on my voice? Because that's where I want my business to go. Is like, I want Soul Talk to be the main thing I do. This is I love everything about this. I want to use my voice for my work. I want to be the speaker. I want to be the panelist. I want to not just be the ceremonialist or the psychic, but I want to be on stages, on platforms using my words. And so it's so interesting that as the South Node is moving over my Mercury, or like right on top of it, firstly, I lose my voice. I get such a deep recalibration in my throat, you wouldn't believe. I'll talk about that separately. And I'm left to go, hang on, my work that's pertaining to my voice, my podcast, the number one thing that's pertaining to my voice and my value in the world when it comes to my work is being promoted in mainstream publications without me to be needing to do anything to promote it. And I haven't even been active online. So it's been this really fascinating recalibration of where my voice wants to go and the priority and the order of where it wants to land. And it wants to land here first. This is where people can find me. So that feels really cool. Anyway, and then Mars being your energy and life force and anger and aggression, it makes sense, right? That basically all of this kind of kicked off when I had my first of 3 EFT sessions with Erin Lashley. And I had that a week ago, last Tuesday night. I mentioned it in the podcast, I was doing it that night. And so I initially had these sessions up my sleeve with Erin. And in my head, it was, okay, I want to work on suppressed anger. And you guys will remember potentially a few episodes back where I realized I had so much anger that I hadn't felt or processed. And I don't know what I wanted to speak about and what's the vibe last week was, I don't know how many of you have had this reemergence of narcissistic energy in your field, like narcissistic abuse wounds, narcissistic patterns or behaviors, or maybe narcissistic people that you have either ended a relationship with re-emerging, or have needed to end a relationship with, and they've been very prominent in your field, like that Taurus new moon, there was something going on there, and there were a few markers actually that were happening astrologically, because I had to look into it. I'm like, what is this pattern? Not just with me, but with many people I know that were really being forced to look at narcissistic wounds and narcissistic energies in the field. And so that felt quite prominent collectively last week. And so it was very complementary to this EFT initial kickoff session, of which I have 3. So I would still have 2 to go, where I sat with Erin, and this was after a series of events that led to me realizing there were multiple narcissists in my field that, and I do not use that word lightly, like I'm talking, I've had deep therapy and not just psychology, but psychiatry around telling me, Holly, this person is a textbook either narcissist or covert narcissist. So I'm not just using the word as someone, like I'm sure people call me narcissistic because I'm a Leo and I have a show about me. That's not what I'm talking about. That is not narcissistic. I'm talking the very insidious, sinister energy that is abusive when you're in a relationship dynamic with this kind of a person. And if you know this energy, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So I had a series of like 3 or 4 of these energies re-emerging in my field after so long of not being there. And I realized that, okay, this is the energy that I've dealt with time and time again over the course of my life, in familial relationship and also friendship. I've not in romantic, which I've been so lucky to dodge, because I know that that is a really dangerous way that this energy can play out in people's lives. And so for me, it's very much played out in, yeah, as I said, familial and friendship. And so these energies are re-emerging in my field. And I brought all of this to the session with Erin and said, look, I have felt a fixation on these energies around really their getting away with it, right? And particularly this is pertaining to the familial relationship for defamatory purposes. I'm guessing I can't really say more than who it is, but this energy of like consistent abuse my entire life, narcissistic abuse, horrific, horrific. When I tell friends the things that were said and done to me, they cry. That's how bad it was. Like they say, like they're absolutely shocked. And so one of the things that emerged over that weekend in the lead up to my EFT session with Erin was yet another family member defending and sliding into my messages and saying, reach out to this person, as if I'm the bad person for ending a relationship with them. And you can hear it's still charged, because this is the 3rd family member on that side of my family that has not checked in on me, and it's been years, has not asked if I'm okay, has not queried actually what happened for her to take such drastic measures. And not just me, my sister too. What happened to them when they were kids? What happened to them for it to get to this point? 3 family members that have said, come on, figure it out. You guys need to figure it out. Reach out. They're hurting. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back, where I felt the anger, where it's like, where's the check-in? Why am I again perceived to be the bad guy, you know? So you can hear there's this like simmering rage. And Erin's amazing. I'll put Erin's link below too. I've been working with in EFT sessions with Erin for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now. I quote her and reference her in the EFT section of Saying Yes to You. And I usually catch up with Erin and have a session with her when something really acute has happened, like when my dog Archie passed away, when I was going through all of my MCAS stuff, in postpartum, during my pregnancy. Like there's always like a big reason we're tapping. And so usually I will come to her quite emotionally charged. Other than this like annoyance at the family member, I didn't feel particularly emotional. I didn't feel particularly like aggressive. And I guess that was my point with her. It was like, I know there's got to be anger and rage, but I can't access that part of me. And the only way that I can see it is through the lens of astrology, because other than being a Leo, I have no fire in my chart. I have an Aries MC. So this is why I'm quite passionate and motivated by my job and my work and my career, and leadership inspires me, it uplifts me. I'm very fiery there. But when it comes to anything pertaining to fire, so yes, anger, aggression, rage, moving that through, feeling that really, actually physically feeling it. But even like libido, I've always struggled with, as you guys know, sexual vitality, life force, energy, like that kind of like real, like being turned on by life. Don't like, I love life and I get excited and inspired, but that libido-esque quality has been a harder part for me to access. Even like motivation to be physically active. Like I was speaking this out with her. I'm like, I can see that the baseline of it is it's all the same energy. It's this fiery drive, this Mars-esque energy. I've just got so much Virgo and Capricorn that I'm like, yep. And I said, I really want to intentionally move this frustration and rage and anger that I know has to be inside around these people who have hurt me. And it wasn't even really the people who had directly hurt me, more so that in this session it was the people who were kind of like defending, protecting, or a quote that's been in my head consistently over the last 6 months is a friend to all is a friend to none. And I used to be the Switzerland of friendship dynamics and not take sides because of not wanting to hurt anyone. And that was my family relationship growing up. Like I have a Libra moon in the fourth house, my IC's in Libra, my Lilith's in Libra. Like I was middle woman because it felt safer to not pick sides. And that was a safety mechanism I've really had to work hard to not be anymore. And now when I see unfair behaviors happening in any sort of dynamic, I remove myself from the dynamic or I call it out, one or the other. And so yeah, I've been sitting with this frustration around like behaviors that have been really for lack of a better, well, it's not even lack of a better word, the word is abusive, um, being committed by people because I just don't want to get involved. It's easier to take the side of the person who's the most vocal or the most aggressive. And so we did the tapping, and I know, like logically, the anger is never the root emotion. It's usually grief. I know that logically. I also know that anger shows up when boundaries have been overstepped. What I didn't realize is that this session would become a preconception session. He's this bloody spirit baby. I mean, I love you, spirit baby. Like I don't want to call you a bloody spirit baby, but here it is again, showing up in my field, going, "Hey, you think you're doing EFT to move anger through? Actually, it's the grief around not trusting yourself." And EFT is amazing because we did some rounds and I could feel the vibration of anger in my body that quickly moved into me laughing. And we did some tapping on people who, particularly in this line of work I do, they do not walk the talk, they're not embodied, the lack of integrity piece. There was a lot of anger and charge around that. And then I was laughing because I had countless examples of people to share with Erin, and Erin's sitting there like shock on her face, like, what? I'm like, yep. Oh, and this happened. Oh, and this happened. And it felt good to actually speak it all out and move it into humor to be like, this is laughable, like how much this has been a thread in my life. And then that moved to such deep disappointment in myself. And it's like anytime you point a finger, there are three pointing back at you, right? And for me, it was the disappointment I've held where anytime I've felt a little bit off in a social exchange or familial, like that, oh, that didn't feel nice. Or when they said that, that didn't sit right with me. Or that first time we met, it didn't feel like a warm meeting or whatever it was. I have, for most of my life, overridden my initial read of a person because I've not trusted it. Ironic being the psychic. I can read for other people. Do I read for myself? And the disappointment was very visceral. I was crying a lot. And so we did this incredible thing, which I've never done before. And I've been tapping with Erin for like 5 or 6 years, where we tapped on a version of me in the past, as well as me in the present. There's that timeline jumping thing that I said is more in the field. So I was taken to a safe space, which is actually my home here, the couch here. If you're my friend, you know exactly what I'm talking about because it's where we go when we have cacaos and we debrief life. And again, Libra fourth house moon. My emotional safety is the beauty of my home. No wonder I was near death experiencing in the haunted house. Are you kidding? This is the polarity of that. And I was on that couch sitting opposite postpartum me. And she was breastfeeding and broken. And she was looking around going, where have all my friends gone? Like, and why is no one listening to me? And where are the caregivers that I paid good money for? And why what am I missing? She's in the Google forum. She's going, what did I get wrong? Like, if I just worked a bit harder, if I just speak, like, what are like overriding my needs? And it's actually really cool to talk this out now because this was only a week ago. And I was inconsolable, guys. I was shocked at the grief that was coming out of me. There were some rounds in the tapping where Erin's like, just breathe. I couldn't speak. I couldn't repeat what she was saying. I just had to focus on my breath. And it was this tidal wave of suppressed grief and disappointment in myself and not trusting my initial read of people, but also situations. I knew there was something wrong with my breastfeeding within the first couple of weeks, but because I'd never been a mum before, I trusted everyone else's opinions around me. And so there was just all of this suppressed grief and sadness and disappointment in myself that wanted to move. And once that moved, it became compassion to that version of me who didn't know any better. And so it was a really big journey on Tuesday. That was the start of what started to move through me. I'm laughing because it's like, oh my God, that was the start. That wasn't, anyway. Wednesday comes around, and as integration has it, there's usually things that you move in an energetic session of any kind, kinesiology, Reiki, EFT, whatever it is, chiropractic, where you'll tap on something or you'll move something through, and then you'll have the integration where it's that moment of, oh, do I need to look at this a little deeper, or have I processed this? And I had an experience that was in close proximity to one of these energies and one of these people. And it wasn't to me directly, it was to my sister. And the rage was very easy to access. And not to my sister, by the way, like in her experience, what she experienced last week. And I journaled furiously. Can't wait to take this journal to my next session with Erin. It's next Tuesday. See you next Tuesday. um, I've been loving the C word lately too. I've got to say, guys, I know it's not very spiritual of me, but sometimes you just need to use that word. Anyway, 4 pages. Usually every day I write a 1 page. It's not particularly charged. This journaling entry was so furious. I was furiously writing. That was what was happening. It was the rage. But it was on Thursday morning. So the incident happened on Wednesday. Thursday morning, I am like so fucking angry. I'm so enraged at anyone who has gaslit me and my brother and my sister out of the experiences we had growing up. The fact that no one protected us, no one stepped in for us. The fact that we can look at TV screens and, look at domestic violence and be so shocked at what happens, but it's not believed in children. And that, like, my own experience supercharged, being like, where were the adults? Where were the family members that actually stepped in for us? And it's still not happening in my mid to late 30s. She's turning 37 in August. It's still like, you need to do this for the person who abused you. What? Like the anger, you can hear it. Like, it's like, I'm not afraid of it anymore. I'm like, I am happy to be my protector. And I'm not waiting for any family member to come and save me. It's not going to happen. I very, very much see that clearly now. And so that's ignited this like fury in me and a big fuck you energy to not just this situation in my own personal life, but anyone who takes the side of a narcissist or an abuser, like not interested in even having a 1 degree separation connection to anyone that has that kind of energy in their life. I am so done with it. And you can hear the finality in my voice. I'm so done with it. I am sick of being sick in my physical body because of suppressed anger and the deep grief I felt around like feeling wrong for the emotional responses I've had or not allowing myself to have the full emotional responses to growing up in an environment that was not safe. And finally, me taking ownership of that and creating some really serious boundaries in my life, and not one family member asking me why and are you okay? Like that's it for me. I'm talking like godparents, like my godfather, one of them. Um, Defending someone when you don't know the full story as well, or believing, especially someone with narcissistic traits, over, I don't know. It just, you can hear, this is what I'm going to be tapping on with you, Erin, if you're listening. Next, so much anger. So that'll emerge on Thursday. My little girl's still recovering. She's actually better by Wednesday. She's recovering on Thursday. I had a big cry when I was doing this journaling, like incandescent rage tinged with the grief, and realizing that really, like, I'm basically like never going to have a relationship with my dad ever again. That's kind of what happened last week. And like there's been a big part of me that's wanted him to um realize, and she's got daddy issues, and apologize and take some level of responsibility. I've just realized that's never going to happen. Um, the man can do no wrong. So I was very, very upset on Thursday, and rang Trent at work and just had a big cry to him and got it all out of my journal, and then took my little girl to the library. We did story time, came back and had a play date with Liv, who does my homeopathy and is also my friend, and was speaking all of this out with her. And I'm like, this has to be coming up with a remedy. And she agreed. And, it made a lot of sense. And then all Liv did was she had brought over a new remedy that she thought would be great for me and for me to feel into when to take it. But it was like a 7-week cycle. And all she did was name the remedy to me and give it to me in the dropper bottle. That's it. I didn't open it. I didn't sniff it. I didn't do anything except put it down. She leaves. I go, whoa, I'm getting sick. And I start to fever. It happens so quickly. I start to fever. My throat's getting really, really sore. By this point, Trent's home from work. I've had to cancel my catch up that night because I'm like, I've just come down with something really gnarly. I'm in bed by 6 o'clock. I'm sweating, chills, end up sleeping with socks on and the fan off. That is not my MO. I do not sleep with socks on, and I always have the fan on. I was like, I've never had chills like this in my life. I wake up Friday morning, daggers in my throat, cannot swallow, can hardly talk. Actually, like, my guides were looking out for me because I was going to push through and do my reading. And it turned out that we had, calendar bungle and bingle, bungle, bongle. And ended up not having a session on the Friday morning. That never happened. So thank you, guides, for that recalibration. Because there's no way I could have done a reading. No way. I couldn't speak. It was sore to swallow. And all of the physical symptoms were exactly textbook picture the remedy Liv had handed to me a couple of hours before the fever started. So what I think actually happened was a few things. It was a perfect storm. Here's what I think happened. I was already inner nervous system shut down, probably verging on an autistic burnout after the trip and then the flight home and that vomit disaster. And then my little girl being sick over the weekend, vomiting again. And, that's my phobia exposure twice within 1 week. I think already I was running on empty. Then I had all the EFT and all of that emotional stuff off the back of it, like lots of emotional processing, lots of rage, lots of anger, like heat in the body, right? Rising, heat, fever. Are we seeing the connection? Then at the same time, obviously my little girl was sick. So I had that in the field, right? That the kind of energy of getting sick and having a fever was already in the field. I well and truly thought I had dodged it because she was fevering on the Sunday. She was well by the Wednesday. I didn't come down until the Thursday night. I know things linger. I know, but Trent hasn't been sick this entire time, although the man's a Taurine and he's robust as. Anyway, There was that. There was the emotional catharsis. There was the nervous system shutdown. And then I think the remedy being in my field just tipped me over. It was like my system went, all right, we're going there. And so from Thursday night to Sunday night, I did not get out of bed. I couldn't. I couldn't sit. I was in so much physical inflammation and pain. I was crying by Saturday, going, not again, not again, not again, because you guys remember Easter. I had a big flare up, fevers. I don't get fever. I don't, I'm a chronically ill girly, not a like normal illness girly. So I was like, I can't do this again. And this time around was worse. And it was this big thread for me around trusting in, firstly, my body to move all of this through, but also my sensitivity to healing. And that's something that I've really come to terms with through this whole experience is, if you've read my second book, you know that once I had a bodywork session with Asha and she said, how do you want to feel on the other side of this? And I said, lighter. And then afterwards, I shat myself, right? I've had a tremor releasing in lymph drainage. I have had violent projectile vomiting while I'm wetting myself at the same time after a cord cut. I am, name a modality I have reacted in some sort of expelling of fluids way to it. I am sensitive energetically. And especially because the remedies work at such a quantum cellular level, ancestral level, I can't have multiple remedies in my field. And this is what I end up saying to Liv. I'm like, I can't have multiple remedies at a time. I need to focus on one at a time and I need to sniff them, hold them or sniff them. I can't even take them under my tongue because it's actually too much for my physical body to hold. And I can't also continue to be coming down with things like this, which is so cool that I'm processing so deeply and so quickly. It's amazing, but it's also not a quality of life I want. I do not want to sacrifice my quality of life for the sake of my healing. I don't want to martyr myself to my healing. I would prefer to go slow and steady. And slow and steady for me is just much slower than someone else. And that's it. That's energy, right? That's the nature of being energetically sensitive. I work in this field, so of course I'm more open and susceptible. So it's been really profound and interesting in that way to realize like there's a new layer of self-trust, not just in trusting my first read of a person or a situation, but trusting in what my body can or cannot hold. So the sickness had everything. It had fevers, chills, sore throat. It was very much how I was prone to glandular fever as a child. And so, yeah, like pus on the tonsils, just all of it. It was fucking gnarly. And I looked at my chart and that's when I realized this has to be the South Node on my Mercury and my Mars because Mercury is voice, Mars is energy. Boom, there it is, direct my Mercury conjunct my Mars. So I've been sitting with that and going, okay, well, this is highlighting anywhere that I'm overgiving or overdoing. And it's creating stress in my system, which is another root of the inflammation. And so I am, yeah, just taking my time to sit with where I want to or where I feel valued, because that's the second house. It's how I make money and how I value myself and where do I feel valued the most when it comes to using my voice, speaking, writing, and the audiences that I want to and the work I'm here to do. And it's definitely this show, which was beautiful that during all of this, I also had that Wellbeing Magazine article pop up and me go, I don't have to actively promote. People are going to find this show. People are going to find my voice. I've booked work while I've been offline, like my business is run and I've not needed to be this like forward facing energy drilling machine. I'd rather direct my energy back to me and, go to the gym, go for a walk, play with my little girl. Like these are the sorts of recalibrations that are happening across the field for me. So it's been pretty cool. The other thing is, oh my God, guys, I don't know if I want to show you guys a photo of this or not, but in amongst all of this, I am having this breakout, which isn't actually acne. I forget what they've called it, but all on my lower back, like it looks like chicken pox. It's not chicken pox, it's just my lower back. But basically what's happening is the remedies are pushing viral load out of my system. And I did say I wanted to move the inflammation, and I do move quickly. So there's been a lot. There's been a lot happening. That's been my last week. Where to from here is I'm going to obviously do the other 2 EFT sessions. But when it comes to inverted commas healing, I want to take a break. I want to give my body a big break. I don't want to be using any remedies. We're going to do a big reset. I'm just going to take a break from all of them for now, unless there's something acute, like if I get a cold and I take pulsatilla or whatever. Um, and I want to do the cleanse. I actually, in amongst all of this being sick, I was also bleeding. So it's been a time. But I did want to do this cleanse when I was ovulating, which will be next week. That could be a really good time because I'm already in this detox. So I'm just going to feel into it, feel what my body wants, pass a few more aliens. Oh, yeah, because I didn't tell you guys. Remember when I said 2 months ago when I had the last sickness and I had the dream and then I woke up and coughed that thing out? Yeah, I coughed a bigger one up yesterday and it was just mid-morning. I sent a photo to Cass because I told her about it and she's like, I want to see. And I also sent a photo to Trent and they both said separately. Well, Cass said, oh my God, you just coughed up an entity. And Trent said, did you just cough up an alien? Like when I say that this was not a human thing, like I'm moving stuff. Stuff's moving. And it's cool because I woke up this morning. It's the first day since Thursday where I'm like, my life force is back. My energy is back. I'm feeling so great. Like I'm feeling ready to go. I can see life in my face. I've just been in an appalling state. So it's nice to be emerging. Yeah, where to from here is pause on all the healing, minus the EFT and the cleanse, which is enough. Like when I say that, I'm like, that is more than enough, Holly. More than enough. So that feels great. Oh my God, I just moved something through as I was speaking. I'm sorry, guys. That was gross if you're watching the YouTube. Um, and watch what this lower back thing does. It's very interesting, very curious. Some sort of virus that I'm moving. And also, I actually am feeling this little bit of an inclination to come back online. Do you know how hard it was to be sick and not scroll? Guys, like, I'm a hero. Give me a medal. Like, I watch so much true crime. Oh, and I realized, of course, my North Node is in Aquarius in the eighth house. I'm meant to, I can't tell you. I love it. I'm fascinated by, I don't know what it is, what shifted in me. I used to be so scared. Now I can't watch them at night. I'll tell you what I watched. I watched Amanda Knox. Wow, wow. Oh, the corruption of like the legal system and just in general in life terrifies me. But I watched Amanda Knox. I watched The Crash. I watched Deadly American Marriage. I'm laughing because they're not funny stories. They're awful. But like I'm laughing because it's like, what are the name? What are these names? But these are what I'm watching. And there was one other like My Worst Ex-Boyfriend. Oh my gosh. Wow. Anyway, that's what I did instead of scrolling. I do like two true crimes in the morning, and then I do Modern Family in the afternoon to evening because Modern Family, as you guys know, my comfort show of choice. Oh my gosh, I love Cam so much. He's me. He's me. He's so Leo. I don't know how many of you watch Modern Family like I do, but Alex Dunphy is giving level one autistic. It's the first time I've watched it with that set of eyes. I'm like, oh my God, she's level one autistic. Like she stims constantly. She shoves a pen up her nose. Like she's like saying, oh my God, I learned that if I just pretend to be what everyone wants me to be, then I fit in. Like she's masking left, right, and center. She's also a genius. She's level one autistic. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not. I'm never. No, I'm wrong sometimes, guys. I promise. Um, that's me. So on that, we'll see how I feel on Friday. There's this part of me that's like, I want to come online because I definitely want to show the Fiji photos because they're just so beautiful. And it's getting to the point where I've been back almost 3 weeks and they're losing relevance in my mind. But also part of me was like, I need to be online to promote this event. I don't think I do. It's 50% full in 24 hours to a wait list and one email. So if you're wanting to come, I would love for you to be there. The link is in the show notes. Please book your ticket because once those tickets are gone, it's gone. And I'm not doing another one of my own events this year. So this will be it. And it's going to be real. It's going to be special. Cass is going to be assisting me. It's sunset. It's the Astro. There are some women that have bought tickets. Oh my goodness, you want to be in their energy, let me tell you. So yeah, that is me. Love you guys. Thanks for understanding my Holly's modern life. And I will be back in your ears with a What's the Vibe in a couple of days.